Hey, this is Stacia, and it's Christmas Day, getting towards the end of it. So I hope you all had a nice Christmas, or at least a decent one. My Christmas was not that great, because um, half my family is sick, so pandemic type stuff. But we did get together on Zoom on Christmas Eve at least, and that was pretty fun. Pretty fun. So anyway, I've got this game to show you. It's a training game, part of my Rise to 2000 on Lichess. So let me fix that a little bit. Okay, and I've done one of these so far, and that game I won with a nice sacrifice and a mating attack. So that was pretty cool. And this game's a little different, but let's go ahead and get started here. So my opponent played 1e4. I went e5 and they played d4. So I was like, are they going to go for a Danish gambit, which is like takes here? Because I see that a lot in Blitz at least. But they actually didn't do that. They took with the queen, so this is a proper center game. So of course knight c6 makes sense here. The queen must go away, and the queen went to d1. So I'm not really, I think this is a move, but I'm not really familiar with it. I'm used to the queen going to e3, and then I actually have some opening prep against that, but they went this way. So let's check the opening book and just see, what it says about this, because I'm curious. Oh, wow, it doesn't appear to be like a real move. And let's see what the engine says. Yeah, it likes black after this move. Because of knight f6, which I probably played. I did play it. Okay. So I guess my opponent was messing around, or didn't know the theory, or didn't want to play theory. One of those. But I have to say this about Lichess. I think the Lichess ratings are a bit inflated compared to chess.com, or compared to USCF, or compared to anything really. So 1700 on Lichess to me is more like 1500 on chess.com. And with that in mind, I do feel like queen d1 is something maybe a 1500 would play or lower than that. But okay. So I went knight f6 because if he goes e5, I can take that. And I don't think I'll have any trouble defending the knight. So he played here, bishop g5. So he kind of has a threat here, but maybe not. Like, let's just say I go a6 just to show his threat. He could go e5. No, it doesn't work, right? I would just take it. I could still take it. So it's not a real threat at all. Yeah, it's just not a threat at all. And even if, that was protected, like let's just say knight f3 was played to protect e5, I think I could still waste a move here. If e5, I could still play h6, I think. But I could be wrong about that. Could I do that? Let's see. Because if they take here, I take here. I see computer really likes white now, though. But yeah, it's just because the pawn is here, though. Yeah, and I can't do that. So I guess my my instructive illustration doesn't work. But anyway, I just knew this wasn't a real threat, but I thought h6 was a reasonable move here. Because if the bishop goes back, I will have the option to potentially kick him away and then take on e4. So that actually happens, yeah. I had to calculate this a bit because, my knight is on the open e file, and he's easy to pin with queen e2. But I just thought, there's no real way to punish me for this. Like, let's say queen e2. I could go queen e7 at the very least. Maybe that is what I would do. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, what other option do I have? I guess the downside to this, though, is they could take here. Let's see what the engine says about all this. Oh, it says black's winning now. Knight d4. Yeah, that's a thing. So I guess they would have to move their queen and protect that. Oh. Yeah, I see the issue now. You can't protect that and stay on the e file at the same time, right? Like if you go here, now I have like this move. And I can win your queen. So I actually didn't see all that during the game, but I just knew I had options after knight e4 if they went queen e2. And so they played here, bishop d3. Okay, so that attacks my knight, so I should probably do something about that. Here I was wondering if I could play d5, which maybe I can, but the problem with d5 is I wasn't so sure about this. Like, should I allow them to do this? Now I should probably take with the king, otherwise they're going to take on c7. And I don't know. This looks a little bit iffy. Maybe it's totally fine, but it might be totally fine actually. So I'm up a pawn and I've got two bishops. So I'm going to guess that black's better here. The engine agrees. Black's a little bit better here. Okay, so I didn't want to do d5 though. I just thought, you know, let's grab the two bishops straight away. It solves my issue with this knight. And I wasn't so worried about this recapture because I can play bishop g7 and then this pawn will be safe because there won't be any pin anymore. And my bishop's on a good diagonal. I even get a tempo on the b2 pawn and the rook in the corner for that matter. And I just thought, you know, this has got to be good. A pawn up with two bishops. How could this not be good? So I see now that the engine does like this a lot. It also likes queen e7, which I didn't consider. Queen e7. I wonder if it's because of the same things as before, like knight d4. Is knight d4 good? No. No, it just likes this position a lot for some reason. Okay. Well, let's continue. So after this, I did play d5. They played queen e2. And, well, I don't see any reason I can't trade queens. Like, I'm a pawn up. I've got two bishops. So I played queen e7. They went here. And, yeah, I just played bishop d7 here. I thought this is fine because I'm going to castle queenside. And I thought, you know, if they trade with me, I'll put my bishop on e7. That's totally fine. Or my knight. I definitely thought about some other moves here. Like, for example, I thought about knight d4 a little bit because it attacks the queen. But then I thought they take, and I take, and they just castle. And I'm not sure what my knight is doing here. I think he's just going to get kicked away. So kind of a nonsense move in that case. I also thought about this move, which I'm threatening to take the bishop, but I already have two bishops. So I don't think I need to do this, you know. So I didn't do that. Instead, I decided on bishop d7. Computer likes knight before the best. Okay, well, I thought here they would castle or take my... Let's see. Here, I thought they could even just castle. Yeah, what's wrong with that? I guess I could do this. I could do this. That's kind of mean. Yeah, so they can't castle because they lose that pawn. So instead they should go knight to b3. This is what the computer wants. I'd be tempted to just take. You know, if they want to take with a queen. Oh, they can't take with a queen. Oh, okay. I like this a lot better then. Okay, I like knight b4 because none of the stuff I thought they could do, they can actually do. So, okay, but I went takes, bishop g7. Yeah, okay. And here I expected them to castle, which they did. And then I thought, I should probably castle, so I did. And now we're in the middle game, but I'm up a pawn with two bishops. So pretty comfortable so far. And they played bishop to b5. Not sure that does much. Doesn't seem to do much. If they want to trade off the bishop, I think I'm kind of okay with that. Like if takes knight here, that's protected. So they can't even do that, at least not yet. So I went ahead and played a6, encouraging this. And it did happen. And they played knight to b3. So, okay, so the knight is looking to jump in somewhere, right? Like, I think the knight wants to come into the position, maybe come here, although I don't really see anything immediate that the knight would be threatening, but if I ever did play b6, he could take here, so it's a little bit annoying. So here, I'm actually wondering if my decision was correct or not. I thought about playing d4. Oops. I thought about playing this move. I thought it just kind of looked interesting to me. And I thought about bringing a rook in. Thought about c5, but I kind of didn't like c5 because should this knight come in, I didn't really want to give up that square. And I might as well be flexible with my pawns. I mean, this pawn break isn't anything special, I don't think. So, yeah, let's see what the engine wanted. So the engine wanted b6, which is pretty fascinating, but I do understand that we're just keeping the knight out, and we're claiming that, you know, the knight's actually terrible on b3. He doesn't have any squares, and he's going to have to come back like this. So, yeah, that move makes a lot of sense, and I could potentially pull my bishop back. And I could potentially go a5, so I like b6 a lot. It also likes rook d6, which I did not consider at all. And it likes bishop f6, which I didn't consider at all. Okay, but I played this move. So black's still better here, which is what I thought. Now, this is a little bit of a tricky move because I'm saying if you take this pawn and win it, I can win a pawn too. That's what I'm saying. So like, let's say they take and I take and they take. I was thinking bishop takes g2 and it's a tempo on the rook. And I was wondering if the rook would go here or here. And then I thought I might even do something crazy like here and this. I don't know. But I thought a pawn for a pawn, this must be totally fine for me. And it is. It is. So that's good to know. But he played here, so he saw what I was up to. And he protected the pawn. So now I have to decide, how am I going to protect my pawn? So I see that engine wants to play d3. Wow. d3. So I guess it's a pawn sacrifice, but we're giving him a weak pawn on the d file, right? Like, even if they take with a rook, we could take and then target this pawn. Huh, I didn't really consider that, but I like the idea. That's pretty cool. All right, yeah, because like rook d8 could come next and equal pawns, but we're likely going to win that one, so I like it. But I would rather keep the pawn, you know? So I played this move, bishop takes f3. So just removing one of the attackers. I didn't especially want to give up my two bishops, but I thought, hey, it's worth it to keep a pawn, especially a pawn that's like kind of far advanced at this point. So black is still better. And then I played b6, seeing the idea to corral the knight. And then this rook came over. Yeah, and at this part of the game, I realized that I have a pawn, but I am a little bit behind in terms of, you know, the initiative. Like, I don't think I'm in time to challenge the rook on the e file, for example. Like, I would love to play this, but I think he could trade. And then when I take, he could actually, you know, take this. And even if I took that, white got their pawn back, and maybe I'm better because I don't have double pawns and he does. But it looks more equal than before, so I don't like this so much. So I'm actually not in time to challenge the rook, so that was kind of a bummer. So I need a different plan. And one plan I saw is that since I'm not going to be able to challenge the rook, I should probably stop the rook from coming into my position. You know, I probably don't even have to now that I look at it, because, like, let's say I just do nothing. Like, let's say I go here, for example, which is a move I want to play. If they come in, I can play here. And if they do this, I could probably go bishop f6. Yeah, I think I could. And then, you know, they could do this, but again, I can just go here, and there's no rook e7 because of the bishop. So this all kind of works out for me. There's no rook e6, so there's no infiltration squares at all. And in fact, the rook's just going to have to go back home. So even though I couldn't challenge the rooks right away, I will be able to challenge them if they try to get in, because the bishop will help with that. But I played rook d7, just saying, like, okay, I'm not going to let you on e7 at all. And he played rook d3, and here I really like the move c5. I thought the engine would like it. It does not, though. I thought c5 was good because I'm actually threatening to play c4 and fork the two pieces. But they played here. Yeah, that move looked weird to me. I thought for sure they would go knight d2, and that is the move the engine gives. So I'm glad to see I knew what the best move was for white. So, okay, they played this. This seems completely wrong to me. And yeah, I think, you know, when I see a move like this, then I do get the feeling that I'm playing someone a bit lower rated, because I don't think a good player would play that move. It just looks kind of ridiculous, because I can take en passant, okay, and my rook's protected. So if their idea was to trade rooks, which I don't think even benefits them to trade rooks, I have intermezzo check. And what's worse than that is my bishop, you know, is protecting that pawn. They cannot take it. So I'm just winning like 2 more pawns, right? Like not just 1 pawn, like 2 more pawns. So this must just be a huge mistake. And indeed, the engine seems to agree with me on that. So this happened. They took intermezzo check, king b1, and now I take the rook. And so now it's a matter of conversion, which is nice because I still had 10 minutes on my clock. So, um, and you know, I'm not very good at converting, so this is still interesting to me. But also, I think it's good to ask the question, like, what are the best ways? Like, what are the best moves that you can make to convert this? The best plans, the best ideas, because the engine can always show us additional ideas. So there's always more to learn, in my opinion. Even though probably almost anybody could convert this without much effort. Okay, so knight d2 is what they played. And the one downside to this position, which isn't really a downside, is that my pawns are on dark squares, so my bishop isn't super happy. But on the other hand, I can put my bishop right here, and he will protect this so that I can push these, and I could even go here and he'll protect that. Like, my bishop will just sit there in the middle of the board like a king. Let's say like the king of Christmas. Got to put a Christmas reference in there. All right, so I'm like, hey, you know, I'm like 3 pawns up, so we can trade. So my opponent was like, no thank you. I went here, the knight came in. Now I went ahead and put my bishop in, plus it attacks a pawn. Yeah, he was actually threatening rook d6 with a little bit of counterplay, maybe take here. So I blocked it. Now he pushed the pawn. And I played a very passive move here, but I kind of like it. When you're converting a position, I often hear that a good thing to do is just stop your opponent's ideas. And I think my opponent wanted to play knight e5 check, you know, and do something like that. Not that it works right now. Yeah, it doesn't even work. Never mind. So I probably could just well, I was wondering about this a little bit. I guess this doesn't work, right? Like, I take, they take, I take. Yeah, it doesn't work at all. But I just stopped that idea anyway. I just went f6 because I don't see anything else productive for them, really. They took here, so I went here. They pushed, and now I can just take that, I think, and go rook e4, and now their pawn's attacked. There's still no knight e5. Okay, they protected. Now I thought I can go b5, or yeah, b5, because if knight a5 check, which they did play, I just go here. You know, I just go up, and it's like their knight's on the side of the board. That can't be that good. So they brought their knight back, attacking the bishop. I moved my bishop, attacking the pawn. Check. Okay, and here I went bishop d4. Okay, I'm happy to see that's the best move, because otherwise there actually is some counterplay for white, I thought. Like, if I go here, I'll show you what I was seeing. I thought he could check me now. Although if I go here, the knight is attacked. So the knight probably has to retreat. Oh. Yeah, what I saw was not anything, because I could take the pawn. I was worried about the rook infiltrating, but look, it doesn't. It doesn't, and I went another pawn. So, yeah. I guess they could take here at least. Okay, but I blocked because I liked this better. I'm like, I mean, look, if they take this, I think I just go here. You know, if we trade everything, then black is completely winning, right? There's just way too many pawns here. I would probably leave these like this, go win this and start queening it, and then black wins. So instead of that, they moved their rook, protected the pawn. I pushed. Now they took the bishop. brought my king up. They took that pawn finally. Now check, king there. And I played a5. I thought this is kind of interesting because the king actually doesn't have any squares. They came back attacking the pawn. Now to show how it ended. I think this is pretty overwhelming. Yeah, rook d2, and in this position, my opponent resigned. So very clean and easy game. I really didn't feel like I had any trouble that game, even though I didn't play the most precise moves. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. So Merry Christmas, everybody, if you celebrate it. Also, happy holidays to those who don't. Happy New Year coming up. Let's make a lot of great chess moves in 2022. This is Stacia, and as you know, I'll be back with a lot more chess. See you then. Bye.